More than 120 people have been killed after a powerful earthquake struck a remote region of Tibet on morning, January 7, 2025, with tremors felt across the Himalayas in neighboring Nepal, Bhutan and parts of northern India. The 7.1 magnitude quake struck at 9:05 a.m. local time at a depth of 10 km. At least 126 people were killed and 188 others were injured in the quake, according to state broadcaster China Central Television. More than 3,600 houses were damaged. Its epicenter, located in Tingri County high on the Tibetan Plateau, was close to the border with Nepal, around 50 miles north of the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest. The tremors were felt as far away as Kathmandu, Nepal's capital. On the same day, January 7, 2025, an ongoing series of multiple catastrophic wildfires has affected the Los Angeles metropolitan area and surrounding regions. The death toll in Los Angeles has risen to 24 as firefighters continue to battle wildfires across Southern California on Monday. There are currently 3 active wildfires in Los Angeles County: the Palisades Fire, the Eaton Fire and the Hearst Fire. Santa Ana winds are expected to return to the Los Angeles area this week, which could fuel the growth of the fires. Many people, including celebrities, have lost their homes in the Pacific Palisades area as wildfires continue to rage there and elsewhere in Los Angeles County, burning more than 27,000 acres, destroying over 12,000 structures and killing multiple people, according to local officials. Tens of thousands of wildfire evacuees in Los Angeles are now scrambling to find and hold onto temporary shelter, exacerbating the housing shortage in one of America's least affordable cities. With 92,000 people across Los Angeles still under evacuation orders on Monday, the displaced were scattered across Southern California, in shelter beds, hotel rooms, relatives' spare rooms and friends' couches, unsure about where to go next as extreme fire danger looms for yet another week. A recent Japan 6.9 magnitude earthquake down to 6.6 last January 13, 2020. More and more volcanoes are now active and violent this early month of 2025. Bardarbunga volcano, Iceland. Strong seismic swarm, likely magma intrusion, alert raised. A strong earthquake swarm has started under the volcano this morning today, January 14 at around 6 a.m. local time. More than 100 quakes with magnitudes up to 5.0 have been recorded since. The strongest quake was a 5.0 shock at 08.05 am local time. Manam Volcano Volcanic Ash Advisory. Papua New Guinea. Also today, January 14, explosive activity continues. Volcanic Ash Advisory Center Darwin warned about a volcanic ash plume that rose up to estimated 7,000 feet altitude or flight level 070 and is moving at 10 kts in SW direction. Nevado del Ruiz Volcano Volcanic Ash Advisory, Colombia. Also today, January 14. Explosive activity continues. Volcanic Ash Advisory Center Washington warned about a volcanic ash plume that rose up to estimated 19,000 feet altitude or flight level 190. Also today, January 14. Ibu Volcano Volcanic Ash Advisory, Halmahera Island, Indonesia, Volcanic Ash Advisory Center also today, January 14. Semeru Volcano East Java, Indonesia Volcanic Ash Advisory. And many more active volcanoes from yesterday and the 1st of January. Is volcanic activity spiking around the world? Volcanoes simultaneously erupting across the globe grabbed headlines this week, with eruptions recorded in Italy, Iceland, Japan, Mexico, and Russia. Reports of this activity quickly gathered attention across social media, with some suggesting the number of eruptions at one time is an unusual occurrence. It's very normal for a few tens of volcanoes to be erupting worldwide at any one time. It is not unusual for about a dozen volcanoes to be erupting at the same time, with some 40 to 60 volcanoes erupting around the world each year, according to Christopher Kilburn, Professor of Volcanology and Geophysical Hazards at University College London. There are more than 1,500 volcanoes around the world that are active in the sense that they have had recent eruptions, and will very likely erupt again. A massive volcanic eruption can propel sulfur dioxide through the troposphere, the part of the atmosphere where weather happens, and into the stratosphere, the layer about 7 miles above the Earth's surface where planes fly. Here, it forms tiny aerosol particles which scatter sunlight, reflecting it back into space and cooling the planet below. These particles will blow around the world and last for a couple years, said Alan Robach, a climate professor at Rutgers University who has spent decades studying volcanoes. There are also indications that massive eruptions may affect rainfall, drying monsoon systems, including those in Africa and Asia. The monsoon in the summer happens because the land warms faster than the ocean, Robach said. A huge volcanic eruption can disrupt the temperature difference between the two. It's a more unstable world now, said Michael Rampeneau, a professor at NYU, who investigates links between volcanic eruptions and climate change. The effects might be even worse than we saw back in 1815. Oceans may also play a role. As the surface of the ocean heats up, a layer of lighter, warmer water sits on top and acts as a barrier to mixing between shallow and deeper layers. This may mean eruptions disproportionately cool the ocean's top layer and the atmosphere above it, Stoffel said. Climate change can also affect volcanic systems themselves. Melting ice can lead to increased eruptions, as its disappearance decreases pressure, which can allow magma to rise faster. Scientists have also found more extreme rainfall driven by climate change can seep deep into the ground where it can react with magma to trigger an eruption, Aubrey said. Massive volcanic eruptions cannot be prevented, but there are ways to prepare, Stoffel added. He called for experts to assess worst-case scenarios, run stress tests and come up with plans, everything from evacuations to aid efforts and securing food supplies. Effects that scientists had long predicted would result from global climate change are now occurring, such as sea ice loss, accelerated sea level rise, and longer, more intense heat waves. Some changes such as droughts, wildfires, and extreme rainfall are happening faster than scientists previously assessed. It could mean that this 2025, disasters are a common thing in our world to happen.